All right, fast time doing this recording because, oh boy, I've had some technical problems. All right, so CNN's Dr. What's his name? I think I pronounced it after the fourth time. But yeah, Dr. Sanjay something or other went on to Joe Rogan's podcast, and the backlash is interesting. Not against him, but just CNN in general trying to double down and trying to do damage control. But we'll get to that in a sec. So he went on to CNN and Joe Rogan basically lambasted him, or as I'd like to say, literally hosted him up by the pike, Vlad Tepes style, and basically gutted him on a podcast that gets millions of views. Now, instead of me just sitting there explaining it, we're going to watch the video because it's very, very interesting. And his body language in itself is interesting to watch.
I'm glad you're...
So, let's go through and let's watch this and let's see what was said. And then we'll talk about the CNN's response and we'll go from there.
You're better. I'm glad it only lasted a day.
You're probably the only one at CNN that's glad.
No. We're not.
The rest of them are all lying about me taking horse medication. And we should talk about that.
That bothered you.
It should bother you, too. They're lying at your network about people taking human drugs versus drugs for veterinary...
Calling it a horse dewormer is not a flattering thing. I get that.
It's a lie. It's a lie on a news network. And it's a lie that's a willing... That's a lie that they're conscious of. This is not a mistake.
Yeah.
They're unfavorably framing it as veterinary medicine.
Well, the FDA put this thing out. You saw that. Did you see that thing that the FDA put out?
What did the FDA put out?
It was a tweet, and it was snarky. I admit it. They said, "You are not a horse. You are not a cow. Stop taking this stuff," or something like that.
Why would you say that when you're talking about a drug that's been given out to billions and billions of people, a drug that was responsible for one of the inventors of it making the
Nobel Prize
in 2015?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, a drug that has been shown to stop viral replication in vitro. You know that, right? Why would they lie and say that's horse dewormer? I can afford people medicine, motherfucker. This is ridiculous. It's just a lie.
I don't think anyone is...
But don't you think that a lie like that is dangerous on a news network when you know that they know they're lying? You know that they know that I took medicine, like, here it is. This is ivermectin.
You got
this
it with
right
you.
Here. Somebody gave it to me.
All right, hang on. The thing is, we're like going so fast. Like I feel like I'm missing.
Do you think that's...
It's basically his summary of what he just said. And Joe Rogan is literally just hoisting him up by his bootstraps.
It's a problem that your news network lies.
Well, I don't.
Dude.
What did they say?
They lied and said
say?
I was taking horse dewormer. First of all, it was prescribed to me by a doctor.
Yeah.
Along
they
with
shouldn't have said it was
a bunch of other medications.
If you got a human pill, because there were people that were taking the veterinary medication.
Show me this proof. I want to see the proof. What is the proof of people taking this from the veterinarian side of the dewormer? I want to see the proof of it. Because everything that I have seen is very suspect and substantial. First of all, they claimed that a hospital was taking large amounts of admittance because of it. And that ended up being false. Then they're claiming that sales are through the roof. Yeah, guess what? It's summer and people deworm their frigging cattle. You probably find the sales go up every summer. It's so stupid, this whole argument. But here's the thing, right? Is at the end of the day, here's a little trade secret for you, right? I'm not going to call it what it's called because there's censorship on YouTube, right? But at the end of the day, if the dewormer, air quotes, is actually effective in treating against the virus going around at the moment, here's the thing. You lose the emergency approval from the FDA for the vax. Makes you wonder, huh? So you have this drug, which is a generic drug, which the drug companies cannot make large amounts of money off, being used unofficially to treat something that if ends up being successful in treating, you then have a whole bunch of vaccination companies losing their emergency status. By the way, if they lose their emergency status, that means that they also are most likely going to be eligible for prosecution, because the reason why they can't be prosecuted is because of the emergency status. There's a lot riding on that emergency status, and guess what? If you go through and you start chipping away at that by using some drug that has not been approved at the moment, kind of makes you wonder. There might be a bit of a narrative being forming here, and it was interesting. India got over their instance of this certain virus in several days, and the way they did it was with exactly what Joe Rogan was prescribed. Check it out; it's in the headlines. You can see it. But let's keep going.
And you're not, obviously. You got it from a doctor, so that it shouldn't be called that. Ivermectin can be a very effective medication for parasitic disease. And as you say, it's probably, I think, 250 million people have taken it around the world?
More.
I get that.
Way more.
So,
way more. Billions of people have taken it.
Can I just come back to the one I want to talk about? Two
No.
things on the ledger.
That's him being a worm on a hook, trying to get off.
Before we get to that, does it bother you that the news network you work for out and out lied, just outright lied about me taking horse dewormer?
They shouldn't have said that.
Why did they do that?
That was priceless. Getting him to admit that on camera was priceless, and this is why CNN has had to double down on this. We'll watch that. Don't you worry.
I don't know.
You didn't ask? You didn't think that was you're the medical guy over there.
I didn't ask. I should have asked before.
But they
coming
did
on
it with
podcast.
such glee.
No,
yes,
Joe.
they did. I watched.
You watched?
I watched.
So, at the end of the day, it was a very, very interesting argument, but very, very interesting, obviously, when they're going through and they're talking about this. Now, at the end of the day, obviously, CNN has gone through and has doubled down. But before we get to that, obviously, Fox News appears on Joe Rogan's show after network or a condemned influenza podcast host. Then obviously, the other mainstream media that tends to be left-leaning a little bit, although New York Post seems to be centrist at the moment. Joe Rogan takes on over CNN lying about treatment. But the most interesting thing is this, CNN had the doctor back on after he was on Joe Rogan's podcast to double down on their campaign. And the reason why, before we start this, the reason why I reckon they did this was because at the end of the day, they're trying to market themselves as this news network you can trust. We are the trusted name in news. And having a podcast call you a liar and having your doctor admit that they lied is probably a really, really, really bad look for that narrative. So they've had to bring him on to clarify his statements. Let's watch this for you.
So very important. I know it's in large part a tongue-in-cheek interview, because it's Joe Rogan and there's lots of you're jockeying back and forth. But he did say something about ivermectin that I think wasn't actually correct about CNN and lying. Okay.
That is the part that really rubs them, was the fact that he claimed that CNN was lying.
Ivermectin is a drug that is commonly used as a horse dewormer.
That's not what you said, though. You said he was taking horse dewormer. That is a big difference than a drug that is sometimes used in larger amounts to treat horses and whatnot. It's like me claiming that actually, see if I can find it. Someone actually posted a meme on Twitter, and it's absolutely beautiful. Let's just very quickly see if I can find it. I know I retweeted it. Here it is here. So someone went through and posted this on Twitter, and I thought it was absolutely beautiful. Shocking footage of a young child eating horse food, and it's him eating a carrot. right? And at the end of the day, it's exactly right. You can sit there and you can claim that this is a child eating a horse food. He's eating a carrot. Or you can sit there and say he's also eating a carrot. But regardless, let's keep going.
So it is not a lie to say that the drug is used as a horse dewormer. I think that's important, and it is not approved for COVID.
There's a lot of, doubling down on their sort of narrative here, aren't they? Like, if you want to get sued by Joe Rogan, just keep doubling down and see what happens.
Correct?
That's right. That's correct. It is not approved for COVID, and you're right.
Why is it not approved for COVID? Has there been any tests to see if it is just as good, if not better, at treating COVID than some of the other stuff that's out there? Oh wait, when there's a test in that, or when they do go to test that, the studies get largely discredited by mainstream media, and no one wants to seem to talk about the possibility of using it. In fact, even mentioning the name of it on YouTube can get your videos demonetized. And it's weird. Posting an interview with the doctor talking about ivermectin. As you guys know, I'm on Triple M sometimes on national radio. There was an interview that they did with a doctor regarding this said horse dewormer, and it got taken down from Facebook. You can't even interview someone regarding it. Why? Because there's billions of dollars riding on the current treatment that they're pushing. But let's keep going.
I mean, the FDA even put out a statement saying, basically reminding people, it was a strange sort of message from the FDA, but they said, you're not a horse, you're not a cow, stop taking this stuff, is essentially what they said, referring to ivermectin. Now, I think what Joe's point
that
is...
It's been approved for...
And he had to interrupt him there. But Joe's point... But yeah, don't want them to finish that sentence, do we?
Humans, but not necessarily for COVID, right? Yeah.
That's correct. It's been used for a pair.
They really did not want him to verify Joe Rogan's statement there, did they?
Parasitic disease for something it's called river blindness, and it's been very effective for that. But, just because it works for one thing doesn't mean it works for something else. Right. And, there's still a few ongoing clinical trials around ivermectin, but for the most part, if you look at the data, there's no evidence that it really works here. When Joe got sick, he took ivermectin. He also took monoclonal antibodies, which is, an infusion of these antibodies. So he took both those things. It's very likely it was the monoclonal antibodies that made him feel better so quickly.
Sanjay, always a pleasure. I hope this was an easier experience than Joe Rogan. You held your own, though. It's very good.
3 hours. I mean, I don't think I've ever spoken to another human for 3 hours before just like that. It was really something.
Sanjay, thank you. Best of luck with the book as well.
That says more about you, buddy. That says more about you than it does about anything, buddy. But at the end of the day, yeah, it was very interesting watching CNN double down on this. Trying to go to these extremes to make up, we didn't lie, we weren't lying, oh no. It's the Covington situation all over again, isn't it? You always know when CNN doubles down on things that they are lying generally. Easiest way to tell when someone's lying is watch them double down on it. But guys, at the end of the day, I thought it was very, very interesting. I think, CNN is really trying to sell it up creek here, but and look, at the end of the day, obviously, look, Joe Rogan's podcast gets millions of views per episode. They have a right to be concerned. They have this narrative that they've been trying to sell for God knows how long now, and if Joe Rogan literally dismantled their narrative in one episode, in a 2.5 minute clip. But let me know what your thoughts are in that comment section below. Obviously, this video has been helpful. Please smack that like button. If you're new to the channel, welcome and subscribe. Don't forget to share it with a friend, because obviously it does help us grow. Post it to your social medias and everything like that. Let's try and get this channel back up to where it was before the censorship. I know it's hard, guys, but yeah, I know it's hard. But yeah, hey, one day hopefully there won't be censorship, right? Apart from that, guys, obviously I also am joining Locals. That is not up just yet, as far as I know. And I will be posting my videos to Rumble, so obviously feel free to go check them out there. Obviously, if you don't check them out on YouTube. Apart from that, guys, obviously this video has been helpful. Like I said, smack that like button. If you're new to the channel, welcome and subscribe. Apart from that, guys, I will see you in the next demonetized video from YouTube. Have a great night and enjoy.